Craziest thing I've ever seen in a contest or done. Well, I think one of the craziest things I've ever done was the BMW X3 for 3 reps. There were 16 competitors, and I don't think anybody even budged it off the ground. And it's one of those moments where I just knew I was going to do something.
Mm-hmm.
I got 3 reps. The crowd went crazy, and Mike Johnston and Dion came over and hugged me because it kind of saved their ass. Doesn't look good when everybody bombs.
Yeah.
But the craziest thing I've ever seen, there's probably a good number of moments, but a couple that stand out come from the Arnold.
Yeah.
Both of them, actually. It's Benny's 500-kilo deadlift with the tires.
Yeah.
And probably Zydrunas on the axle in 2006, where he banged out 8 reps.
Yeah.
And he just ran away with it. That guy on shoulders, anything on shoulders, just disgusting.
Yep.
I'd say another thing that he did that year was a giant circus dumbbell.
Mm-hmm.
I think he did 6 reps, but everybody else was doing the jerk technique. They were dipping below. And then he goes up there, and he kind of bends his knees a little bit like he's going to push press, but then he stands up and just presses. You go, what the hell is that? And it's a giant dumbbell that weighed, I want to say it was 192 or 195 that year.
Yeah.
They've upped it since, and I don't think he's changed his pressing style at all.
That's ridiculous.
Since then, but yeah, unreal.
So what's the current structure of your workouts? Has it changed much since you first started?
My workout routine now has changed a little bit since I started Strongman. I'm trying something a little bit different. I've got a heavy deadlift day on Monday, and then Wednesday is just kind of a heavy overhead day, and then Thursday is squat day. Saturday is all the events, 3 to 5 events. I try to stick with 1, maybe 2 events being heavy on that day, and then the rest of them being about 80 to 85% for speed and form work.
Okay.
Originally, it was 3 days a week. Monday was kind of a max effort lower body, speed work upper body, and then Thursday was the reverse, and then Saturdays was just events.
Okay.
And so far, I think both ways have worked for me. But with this new routine, I get a little more time to focus on specific lifts. Like Wednesdays being all overhead, I got a lot more time to work axle.
Yeah.
And, put in a lot more work on just the one practice event.
So would you recommend an entire day for just something like shoulders, or just like, I don't know, just one event that day, like an axle press?
Well, I'd recommend one day with something event-oriented or event-orientated being the bulk of your work that day.
Yeah.
And then accessories. Like for the clean and press day, I will do multiple sets of shoulders, shoulder clean and press. And then I'll do chest and triceps to kind of finish that off.
Okay.
On the deadlift day, I do back and biceps, traps, and then squat day is just legs.
Yeah. Oh, I understand that. Yeah. So what is your next big strongman goal?
Next big goal, I'd say to win the Triple Crown.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I haven't won any of these events yet, but I plan on winning all 3 this year or very soon. First one being the Arnold, the second one being Fortissimus, and the third being World's Strongest Man.
Fortissimus, yeah.
I'd like to win all 3 in the same year.
You see Fortissimus becoming a mainstay in strongman now?
I think so.
Yeah.
Last year it was kind of a toss-up how it would be, but I talked a lot with Paul Lowell and the people working on that show, and they're all extremely dedicated.
Yeah.
As dedicated as anybody else on these big shows. And the prize money this year is right up there with the best, so yeah, you kind of have to put it up there.
Yeah. All right. All right, so tell me the first thing that comes to your mind when I say these guys. What's the first thing that comes to mind about Zydrunas Savickas?
Zydrunas Savickas. Freak. Never seen a 400-pound man move that fast or have that kind of cardio.
Yeah.
just raw power.
How about Magnus Samuelsson?
Inspiration. He was my favorite when
Yeah.
I started getting into World's Strongest Man,
Oh, yeah.
competing. Always loved his attitude. He was always very, very well spoken.
Mhm.
You know,
He is.
I could appreciate that about him. And now that I've gotten to know him, he's become a pretty good friend of mine and taught me a lot of things, you know,
Yeah.
from the experience standpoint. I mean, 13 World's Strongest Man appearances.
Seriously.
It's
Yeah.
hard to beat that kind of record.
Yeah. All right. Andres Mermetz.
Underrated.
Mm.
See, a lot of people forget about him because he's so quiet, so soft-spoken.
Yeah.
But he's always a legitimate threat
Mhm.
in any contest. And he's got the freakiest grip I've ever seen.
Yeah. Yeah. How about Brian Shaw?
Brian Shaw has a lot of potential. Big dude. Jesus. He is huge. 6'8", 360. His shoulders are as wide as any, you know, door he's ever walked through. He's just, Jesus.
And,
Potential threat in the future
Yeah.
on Brian. Yeah.
A little more experience for him before he gets up there real good.
Yeah, a few
Yeah.
more years lifting. I think he's brought a lot of his lifts up, so I can't speak for him this year, but in the judging by previous years, he just needs a little bit more
Yeah.
brute strength.
Okay. How about the Dominator, Mariusz Pudzianowski?
Marius, nice guy. Tries to play too many games, but deserving of his reputation as one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
That calf injury was total BS.
Mm.
I'm sure we'll talk about it in a little bit. But
Yeah.
he strained it like 3 weeks before, maybe even tore it a little bit, but there wasn't a sign of anything
Yeah.
there. And I'm sorry, you don't pull a 50,000-pound truck uphill with a torn calf.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. How about Bill Kazmaier?
Awesome guy. Awesome guy and totally out there. He's fun to talk to. I like that guy. He's got a different view on pretty much anything you can think of. And inspiration in himself. You know, he's total freak when he competed. And
Oh, yeah.
it's unfortunate he didn't get invited back after his win in 82.
Mm-hmm.
He had 3 straight and then didn't get invited again till 87,
Jeez.
which was just it was a pure strength.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't even a true World's Strongest Man, but it was the World Championship that year.
Yeah.
So, well past his prime, and he just kind of got robbed.
How about Mikhail Koklev?
Kale, Misha, he's a good friend of mine. Funny guy.
Mm-hmm.
It's scary in competition. He's got his good days and he's got his bad days.
Yeah.
And when he's on fire, watch out because he can whip the crap out of anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And a beautiful deadlifter.
Yeah.
His form
Definitely.
is just unbelievably perfect. I try to emulate my form after that, but he's good.
That's good.
Good.